On 21st of May 2019, former First Minister Carwyn Jones asked a question in the Senedd.
Question 3, Carwyn Jones.
Will the First Minister make a statement on progress towards creating a feminist government in Wales?
I want to thank the member for that question. On International Women's Day, Jane Hutt set out our ambition for gender equality in Wales, focused on equality of outcome for all. The statement was developed as part of the Gender Equality Review, of course, initiated by Carwyn Jones in March of 2018.
Well, I welcome that gentleman's initiative. Thank you for that, First Minister. Could I ask you to outline what further changes you think will be needed in the future to realise our shared ambition of true equality in Wales?
Thank Carwyn for that supplementary, and he's absolutely right. It is the core ambition of this government to create a more equal Secondly, as the member knows, Phase 2 of the Gender Equality Review is expected in July of this year. It will provide both a report and a roadmap, and that roadmap is really important in the way that the former First Minister said, in giving us a sense of those changes that will be needed to secure that more equal Wales.
The Phase 2 report of the Gender Equality Review, titled Deeds, Not Words, and associated roadmap created by Welsh women's charity Chwarae Teg, was published in July 2019. The roadmap states, Vision for Gender Equality. A gender-equal Wales means an equal sharing of power, resources and influence for all women, men and non-binary people. This is a vision where the government aims to create the conditions for equality of outcome for all. We want a Wales where, among other things, existing power structures that disadvantage women are challenged. All women, men and non-binary people enjoy equal rights and protections and equality of outcome. The reference to non-binary people indicates the influence that queer theory has had on the report. The Gender Equality Review acknowledges the help of Dr. Alison Parkin and states, building on the Phase 1 report, putting equality at the heart of decision-making, which explored international promising practice, WCPP facilitated an event to enable Welsh Government officials to discuss approaches to delivering gender equality with leading experts and senior policy officials from Nordic countries. The report, Putting Equality at the Heart of Decision-Making, written by Alison Parkin, states in its glossary, Gender. In the following analysis, gender refers to one axis of social and economic stratification, and not to biology. The social processes of gendering are carried through an oppositional binary, whereby differently valued roles, attributes, skills and behaviours are stereotypically ascribed to men and women. In the Annex accompanying this report, Parkin writes, Gender equality, equality for women and men, acknowledging that the social processes of gendering have negative impacts on women and men. Equality is a contested concept within feminisms. Using Rees's typology of approaches to equality, liberal feminism has interpreted gender equality as meaning treating women the same as men. Socialist and some radical feminisms have questioned whether women should have to replicate or be brought up to masculine norms, positive action, and argue that the systems and processes that carry androcentric norms should be challenged, leading to the revaluing of the behaviours, roles assigned to women. Latterly, postmodernist feminisms, queer and trans theories have argued that on the way to creating a level playing field, the gender binary should be challenged, disrupted, and the fluidity of gender identities recognised. Here is explicit advice that creating categories of people between men and women is sociologically advantageous for women. Gender identities are being pushed for political purposes. In the Phase 1 report produced in 2018, it states, There is greater potential to advance gender equality if policies and initiatives advance the position of black and minority ethnic women, disabled women, refugee and asylum-seeking women, lesbian, bisexual and trans women, young and older women, and women with lower socio-economic status. In this list, a man is being smuggled in as a woman. This advice echoes the argument made by former leader of the Liberal Democrats, Joe Swinson, on a BBC phone-in programme.
Let's go to Anna in Warwickshire. Welcome to the show. Anna, what would you like to ask?
Thank you very much. Good morning. Joe, my question for you. It's really great that your party promotes women's rights. So please, can you tell me what a woman is?
Well, I know I'm a woman, and I think we know what we are, and I think all women are important, and their rights need to be protected, whether they are black, Asian, white, whether they are gay or straight or bi, whether they have a very privileged upbringing or they don't have much money, whether they are cis or trans, whether they have a disability. We are all important in all of those different ways.
So how can you tell what a woman is?
Well, I'm just sort of trying to understand, what you're getting at. I think we know when we engage with each other, when we know if we are a woman, right? And I can tell you that I am, right? So, and we're not going to, start a scenario where we go and perform inspections on people, are we?
No. What if a man wears a dress to work twice a week? Is he a woman?
Not necessarily.
But could he be?
Well, I think people can understand their own identity.
In March 2024, Jane Hutt, the Minister for Social Justice, had a written statement published. Today, the Senedd Cymru Electoral Candidate Lists Bill and explanatory memorandum is laid before the Senedd. The bill aims to make the Senedd more effective by better reflecting the gender makeup of people in Wales. It makes provision to introduce integrated statutory gender quotas to the system provided for in the Senedd Cymru Members and Elections Bill for electing members of the Senedd. The provisions will apply where a registered political party chooses to submit a list or lists of candidates for election to the Senedd. The bill creates rules with which such candidate lists must comply. In the integrated impact assessment, it states, candidates will declare whether or not they are a woman as part of the nominations process. Presiding officer Ellen Jones does not believe that the bill is within the legislative competence of the Senedd. Jane Hutt disagrees.
Clovis, as a member in charge, I recognise and respect your own determination in relation to competence. You will know that, based on all the information available to me, I am of the view that the bill is within the legislative competence of the Senedd. With such a difference in views, I believe that a final decision on whether the bill should proceed can only rest with the body where this bill began, the Senedd itself. The only way to achieve this is to introduce this bill and for it to proceed to stage 1 scrutiny. The Senedd committee will then be able to come to a view on the question of competence. The committee's view will form a central part of our consideration of the next steps on the bill. The work will complement our wider work to create a more equal, more inclusive Wales. Work exemplified in the Anti-Racist Wales Action Plan, the LGBTQ+ Action Plan and the Disability Rights Task Force.
Conservative member of the Senedd, Darren Miller, was not impressed.
The bill also does not even define what a woman actually is. And I would ask you, Minister, perhaps you can tell us what a woman is, because as far as I can see, it is allowing people to self-identify whether they consider themselves to be a woman or not. There's no sanction on the face of the bill for those who claim to be a woman who clearly are not, for example, which also seems to be extraordinary. So it amounts to self-ID via the back door. We don't have the competence to be able to deliver. You're curtailing the scrutiny, even though you're saying you're trying to improve the scrutiny processes of the Senedd.
Women's Equality Network Wales believes this bill levels the playing field. Other Welsh women, are angry. In the Putting Equality at the Heart of Decision-Making report, Dr. Alison Parkin writes that the word gender does not relate to biology, and the same message is being pushed in Welsh schools. In her 2005 book, Girls, Boys and Junior Sexualities, Reynolds quotes academic Richard Johnson. Queer theory is linked to forms of politics which deliberately seek to break down the fixed boundaries between the hetero, homo, gender and other binaries, to multiply sexual categories and ultimately dissolve them. This is indoctrination. The book acknowledges the contribution of Alison Parkin.